Hi guys, it's Maven. Welcome back to the channel. Today is the first of my new series that I'm starting, which is The Folk of the Air. This is not a new book series. It's been around since last year, and I figured it is about time that I read it, especially with the release of Queen of Nothing that is coming just around the corner. So I'm starting with The Cruel Prince. I found a hardback of it okay, let me see if I can even do this right. Through Book Outlet for only a couple dollars. It does not have its dust cover, but it's still a nice book. So I picked that up and I am ready to get started. So I'm gonna read some. I have to go return a book. Do I have to return a book? I don't know. We're gonna go places today. We're gonna do things today. So, welcome to the vlog. All right, you guys. Tragic news. Just wanted to update you. I just finished the prologue in chapter 1, and the news is just too much to bear, honestly. But there are no fish sticks in fairyland. There are none. Ketchup either. Or television. So there's three little girls. Two are twins, Jude and Tyrion, and then their older sister Vivi. They're humans, however, Vivi is half Fae. Her father apparently was married to their mother, and she ran away with Vivi when they were younger, and she got remarried. But now the fairy father, has found them, and he gets there. He gets so mad he kills both the mother and the father. Spoiler! Well, I mean, if the prologue can be considered a spoiler, can it? I don't know. um, so they have nobody left except for this big fairy man who immediately seems like he is sorry. I don't know. We'll see. It is an interesting prologue, and the first chapter, of course, like I said, is one sentence, so I'm not that far into it. But I am intrigued. I am intrigued. Anywho, got some stuff to do. We will hopefully finish up this book today, but it might be a slow crawl. And we're headed off. Okay, I'm back, and I honestly went to two different bookstores and to Walmart. I got myself my fire alarm for our beautiful stove over there. We love the stove. It's an old one though. So my son, actually, he is literally right, his room is right above the stove. So this winter, not summer. Oh Lord, this winter felt like we needed to update and get a new set of fire alarms just because I don't want any accidents happening, and my son would be the first one to experience any problems if there was a fire. So we got the fire extinguisher. Life is good. I went to two bookstores. I literally left with nothing, which is really abnormal for me. Because usually I'll find a little treasure there if it's a good price, you know. today it was nothing really stood out. Nothing really grabbed my attention or was worth the price. I did find a Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone at the thrift store, and it was only $3. However, it was a paperback, which I like paperbacks, but the problem was it was a mass market paperback, and it was really worn. There was quite a few pages that were torn almost in half. So I did not think it was a good price for that particular one. Plus, I would rather pay a little more and get something a little nicer. The only thing I did come home that was just for me with today is a delicious smelling candle. I just got one. Nothing fancy, but it's mulled cider. Mulled cider is one of my favorite candle smells, and usually it's hard to find unless it's this time of year. So I'm so excited. I'm going to be using it tonight for sure. This book is getting so good. The storytelling is excellent. Um, I honestly feel like I understand and know these characters so well. Um, that's the kind of book I like, is ones that are character driven, and this is seriously character driven. I am confused, not really confused, but yeah, I'm confused why this guy Locke is a love interest. He is like a smooth talking butt face. That's my personal thoughts on him. I think there's something real sketch about this whole thing. Um, and something going on between Jude and her sister. Yes, I think they like love each other as sisters, but there's just something strange, like a tension between them. Almost like they're competing against each other, like who will get the most love, who can make the best matches, who can live in fairyland the best. I don't know. All I can say is Cardan is one of my favorite characters. He's so very interesting, very dynamic. Also Jude, I really do like her as a character. She is very weird and very dark and discovering more about herself. And I think she wants to be strong. She wants to be somebody that people look at and see as like a warrior figure. But I think that she's willing to compromise a lot of her own like personal moral integrity for this, and I think that's starting to bother her a little bit. I don't know, maybe it's not. Maybe she's developing into something different. Okay, but there, the whole story shifted from like it being this thing between this petty fight between Prince Cardan and Jude, and now like Jude is in a whole deeper world, and it's not just about Prince Cardan and his nasty ass friends. It's like deeper now. Like they are in it. Um and we see all the political dynamics. So the king is getting old. He's got to give his crown to one of his children, and we think we know who it is, but who knows what's going to happen. All right, guys, I'm done with the book, The Cruel Prince. It was fantastic. The storytelling was brilliant. I love the descriptions. I love the characters, their development. I love the relationships in this book. I thought it was awesome. Um, Tyrion is a very interesting main character. I don't 100% love her and I don't hate her. So I think that's interesting because it kind of leaves me wanting to know more about her to kind of make my like formulate my decision on who she is and if I even you know like her as a character. I do understand the struggle of like wanting to be good, wanting to be a part of something. I understand like making choices that sometimes compromise like your moral integrity. I understand like wanting to be strong but not really knowing how to. And so I can relate to her in that way. I really can. So I think that's awesome to have a relatable character, but one that I'm still like, the judgment is out still on her. I'm not sure where it's gonna go. That's the exciting part. It's not all set in stone. There's so much mystery and intrigue around her. And also Cardan, oh my gosh, for naughty Cardan, who I absolutely adore. Like, I absolutely love the dynamic nature of his character. He's just so intriguing. And I know he's not a human, and I don't know if there's a possibility that he has, like, goodness inside of him or not. Like, because his core personality is very, like, arrogant and very, um, cruel, I suppose. So can he change? Is there something deeper there? But then, like, just like Jude, we don't know. There's so much still left unknown. Um, so the resolution between Jude and Tyrion it didn't happen. Yes, Tyrion chose her family, but we still, like, the tension between the two sisters is still there. Thank goodness Locke was found to be who he is, because I had specific feelings about that, and if it had turned out any other way, I think I probably would not be as interested in this series. So I'm really appreciative of where that went. Won't tell you who's on the throne right now. Can't. That's a big ol' spoiler. But I think it worked out great. It's very interesting where this is going. I love the idea that I love. That's what I'm going to keep saying. I love the idea that Holly Black gives us just enough information throughout the book to kind of piece together things, but without giving us everything, without spoon feeding. So there's still all this, like puzzles floating around in my head, like, can this fit here and this fit here, and will this happen this way? And it's very interesting to see it's still open wide, and I can't even think of a word right now, but it's all unprecedented. It's unprecedented. We don't know what's gonna happen. It's all up in the air. Who knows what's gonna happen? I'm really excited. All right, I just finished The Lost Sisters, and it was really short. At first, it seemed like it was a letter, but toward the end, I found out that basically it's Tyrion practicing what she wants to say to her sister, and she's basically explaining her side of the story and how she got to where she is, and then asking for forgiveness as well. At the end of The Cruel Prince, I felt like there was still a lot of tension between Tyrion and Jude. So I guess this is just kind of an indication that they are going to try to make it right. Now, there's still a lot of craziness with Locke. It doesn't really, like, resolve that. But I thought it was pretty good. I loved the story that she tells at the beginning. Oh gosh, it's such a really interesting, like, story. And it's what, like, she says is where her state of mind was the entire time, is thinking about this story that she had heard when she was younger. Bold, be bold, but not too bold, lest that your heart's blood should run cold. And that kind of runs throughout the story. The only thing I didn't really care for, and I would say makes this like a 3-star, is that a lot of the content is repeat content from Cruel Prince. So we are basically reliving the exact same scenes, but from Tyrion's perspective. So we hear things that we hadn't heard from Tyrion's perspective, and we see things through hers. So it's just like, is too similar. It just felt like rehashed scenes. I did want to know what the prince had told her when he made her cry, but other than that, like, I really didn't care too much about her perspective through those scenes. Like, you already knew, like, what she was thinking, and we really didn't need to know that side of it. I did want to know, like, how Locke and her ended up together. Oh, spoiler. Oh, I just spoiled something. Okay. I did want to know about how she got to where she was. Um, and I kind of wanted to know, like, what her mindset was after the Cruel Prince. So now I know that. However, I don't know if I know much more. Like, I really like how she drew the whole, like, Mr. Fox story all the way through her story. But I mean, we understand her mentality and her mindset, but that's all. There was nothing new. So, yeah, 3 stars. All right, I'm ready to read The Wicked King. This is the second book in The Folk of the Air by Holly Black, and I'm trying to figure out what my expectations are for this book, right? I read the Cruel Prince, and I was really captivated by the story and the characters and the character dynamics, the family issues, and this complex relationship between the prince and Jude. I am very excited to see where it goes, but there is a lot going on. There's a lot of geopolitics in this, like fairy geopolitics, all right? I don't even know if you would consider it geopolitics. Fairy politics. There's lots of fairy politics, family issues, complex relationships, lots of characters. And I guess my biggest expectation is that it doesn't get muddled. All right, so I finished The Wicked King, and all I can say is, why? It was incredibly good, and it's really going to be hard to, like, explain it without giving any spoilers. So basically what happened was we jump back into this world of fairy where Jude is kind of like the puppet master of the king, and let me tell you, the relationship between them is so intricate and different and ever changing. And I mean, first we love them, then we don't. We love Cardan, we don't love him. We love him, we don't love him. Then we love him, like we really full-heartedly give everything to him. And then we hate him again. So the story definitely does not, like, completely resolve the issue between Jude and Tyrion from the first book, Cruel Prince. But we do see a reconnection with them. But we also see that Jude is, like, second guessing and also just, like, very paranoid about everyone and her relationship with everyone. She's not sure who to trust. And when she does trust someone, she's, like, second guessing it all the time, and it becomes this point where I don't even think she really understands what's going on. There's so much going on in this book. Oh, and the cliffhanger at the end, like, honestly, she could not, when I say she, Holly Black could not have tore my heart out more than the way that she wrote this ending. And it's like, the ending is so, like, what is gonna happen? She could go so many different ways with Queen of Nothing. My heart hopes that we end up loving Cardan still. I really hope so. We've invested way too much into him emotionally as a reader. I really hope that there's a redemption story for Cardan eventually. And I feel like at the end of the story, the way that it's left, there could be a serious resolution that would make sense and that would like fulfill the story. However, it could also go the totally opposite direction than what I'm hoping for. And I know this is totally cryptic. I know it is, but Queen of Nothing releases in a week, right? Well, actually, it's like a little more than a week. It releases on the 19th. I have pre-ordered it, and it is supposed to be here the day of release. So you know what I'm going to be doing on the 19th of this month. So I'm so sad. I'm glad that I waited to read the series because I think that I would be dying if I had to wait a whole year and a half before I got to read the third book. So a lot of people picked up Wicked King when it first released, and on Goodreads there are tons of reviews that are like, how could you do this to me? I read this book and now I have to wait another year or more until you release this third book. And I'm super glad that I waited, because the way that Wicked King ends is like, it's pure torture to wait. I mean, I have to wait a week and a half and I'm like up in roars about it. So I could only imagine other people who waited a year or more to read this book. But I'm so excited for Queen of Nothing. I cannot wait to find out what happens and how Holly Black ties the story up. That's all I could say, okay? That's all I got. So, hope you enjoyed my little vlog about the catching up on the series Folk of the Air. And I'm going to be doing a book review for Queen of Nothing to follow it up this month. So we'll kind of just like wrap it up in a pretty little bow and be done with it all, and it'll be great. And I'm going to hold on to these books so that my children will be able to read them when they get older. Anyways, it was a great book, great series so far. Can't wait to read the next one, and I will see you next video. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe below and comment if you have read the series and what you thought of it. And that's all for now, guys. Bye.